Do you recall the size of Pat Sajak's head? I've heard his head to body ratio is off the charts.
So
I
he's
thought
actually, yeah, he's not a tall guy at all. He's short, but yeah,
yeah,
his head is a little bit
he's bigger. Yeah, his head body ratio
yeah,
is like
yeah,
way up,
yeah,
way
Like
up
a
there.
baby, his head just kind of leans
yeah.
forward.
Like a, not
His n-
not
he
not a
doesn't have
not a
the neck muscles.
bobblehead, comparison. Not the bobblehead ratio, but
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. At least he's not at the bobblehead ratio. What's going on, guys?
Gosh, Nerthin. Should we tell the world that you were late because you were like running to a yard sale at
First of
7
all,
a.m.?
late is not the right statement because it's 7:59 as we speak. We said we're going to start at 8. I was home in plenty of time, and a 7 a.m. yard sale is pretty impressive, like both for the host of the yard sale and for me to get there and get back.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
is a
how
little.
many people would say that's impressive, though. Like, it's a lot of things. I wouldn't
It's
say
pretty
impressive.
cool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no one would say that. Well, guys, I'm excited for today.
Yup.
I think this particular guest has been a topic for us on many an episode. It's a little embarrassing how much we
Yeah.
talk about this gentleman. Um,
I
mean,
feel
we're
worried for him because we've talked about him so much. It's
I
probably
know.
creepy.
I
Yeah.
know. What
Would you guys say that like at this point he is now an honorary member of Wicked Good Polls? Like I just feel like
I think so.
yeah.
Like of our audience who don't stream, like everyone who streams, I think knows who he is because he's like he's a whatnot celebrity. But
Mhm.
for our audience who don't stream, I feel like they think he's just like one of the family. Like he's just one of the guys that come on and meet with us all the time. I that's my assumption.
Yep.
Our massive audience, by the way,
Yep.
massive, like
And
mom.
of
Right.
course, we're talking about DLava, the famous
Yes,
DLava.
All
the
right.
famous
All right.
whatnot streamer. Let's bring him on.
Okay, let's bring him on. All right.
But
Derek, you
hold
are
on,
on.
Derek.
oh,
Before,
what's up, fella? What's up, fellas? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I love you guys' podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I listen to it all the time. Through all my travels, I travel quite a bit throughout North Carolina because we got two places that my wife works up in UNC, and then we live down here by Fort Bragg. So from episode 1 all the way to episode 20, guys, I appreciate all the accolades, all the shout outs from you guys' podcast. And it's not the reason why I love your podcast. It's really because I love you guys. You guys are like, I laugh at such all the amazing stories from the flea market king to meeting up with the creepy guy on Facebook for cards,
Yeah.
to
You'll
all the
notice
stuff
that
that you guys do. It's
all of the humor in the show is derived from Matt's mental illness. Like
Well,
oh, okay, 75%. Let's be
I don't
generous.
think Mike is the most sane person either. Like I'll take credit for a lot of it,
I mean,
but
you
he's right
both
there
have
with me.
issues, but I feel
Yeah.
like yours are towering. And Derek, where'd you say you're from? North Carolina?
yes, yeah. So we're retired out here. We're out here
Oh,
in
that's
Fayetteville,
lovely.
North Carolina, out of Fort Bragg. So instead of going back to the West Coast where we're from, we kind of just settled here. Mhm.
Okay, so Mike, just so you know, that according to your geography, that would be South America,
okay, got it,
right?
Yeah.
got
Right?
it.
South America.
I made a
Okay.
mistake. I tried to own the mistake. I do know
Yeah.
some level of geography. I know it's not South America, Joe.
The middle of America is not Central America.
Central America.
Just like
Right. We grow and we learn as we go. What do you want from me?
yeah,
know,
that
I
was
try.
rough.
Sorry.
It's all right.
So
We still love you.
listen, there's so much to
I know, I'm
DLava. And
overwhelmed.
do you mind if we refer to you as Derek, your actual name?
Yes, yes, that's fine. Mhm.
So there's so much to Derek. I mean, he's retired military. He was a drill sergeant. He served in the 82nd Airborne. He was on Wheel of Fortune. He has thousands upon thousands of followers. Like I'm at 3, he's at like 15. He's closing in on that. It's
And he
crazy what he's
started
done.
after you.
He started after me. Yes, I know we established this. But the biggest
I love
pressing
that.
question I have, for all of that said, I just want to know if he knows, based on the last episode we recorded, is, do you know the rule in Disney that if you hug a character, they can't let go until you let go?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know. Maybe
go
that's
ahead.
why it's been creepy because when I had the character, we just kind of stand there for about 10 minutes.
You just hold that hug.
Yeah, I feel like that rule should apply to people that are 12 and under. I don't feel like if as you go up that it should apply. I just feel like after that it just gets weird and
Mhm.
it gets dicey. I don't like that. I don't know.
Mike's
My
taking his
opinion.
family tomorrow, Derek, and he
Mhm.
literally leaves tomorrow
No,
morning. And
I
Tonight.
doesn't
thought
he?
you left
Tonight,
tonight.
tonight,
Tonight.
oh,
Tonight.
Yeah.
tonight. And I
Wow.
want you to test this theory, Mike.
Oh,
You
I will
have
Yes,
to.
yes,
absolutely test it. I will
yes.
just
Test it.
Mhm.
I'll sit in there for as long as they let me. I will just
Yeah.
nestle in, head on the
Mhm.
shoulder, and I'll just
Yep.
stay there.
Yeah.
How long till you
And
get uncomfortable though? Like you?
Ooh, that's a really good question because even as I said that to you just now, I kind of felt like, ooh, am I really prepared to stay there for a long period of time? I'm going to say that realistically, I'm prepared to be there for a full single minute, where like 60 seconds of my hands will be around them and I won't release for 60 seconds and then I'll get out of there. Then I think
okay.
at that point, that is a human being. So I
Yeah.
don't want to actually make
Hey,
that
Yeah.
human
Don't
uncomfortable.
don't get sent to Disney jail like that.
do
Oh
Like
me
the
yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
Mike, do me a favor.
Sure.
Don't go up to a character in a suit. Find one of the like the princesses that's like
Oh
a
No,
normal
no,
no,
no, no,
human.
no,
no!
no, no,
Do
no,
the
no, no,
suit.
no,
Do the
no,
suit.
no, 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 no.
Don't.
It will be like a Mickey Mouse or a
Yeah,
Goofy. It will
but
not be like
Yeah.
Tinkerbell or whoever. Like nope, nope, nope.
but you have
That's
to go in. You have to go with the full hug. No, none of the half hugs where it's just the top. You have to go in the full body,
oh, don't
hug it, and
worry.
Yeah.
just hold it up.
I think you should go full hug, but go low with your hands. Like go
Nope.
low hug.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that
Matt, do
this
you know
rule
how to hug?
applies. This only applies
You
to
hug low and
standard
go up.
hugs. If I do any sort of upward movement, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I'm kicked out of Disney. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a
Do it
He's
on the
already
normal.
first day.
walking the line.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to be weird about this hug is it will be extended in terms of time. It will not be in any way abnormal beyond that.
Head on shoulder. Are you gonna do that? Anything like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because
Only
that's
thing
Okay.
honestly, that's part of the Disney magic. Like they sometimes put when they can, when their costumes allow it, they put their head on your shoulder.
Well, if
So,
it's like a big character, like if you get like Goofy or someone, he's gonna be tall. You could like really get in there.
right. Weirdly,
Yeah.
I kind of want to do this to Piglet.
Oh,
Is that weird? Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
You
but
made
you know
that
why
weird.
though? No, I know, but
I
here,
respect
all
it
right,
though.
real quick though, we last time we went, or a few times ago when we went, I remember seeing Piglet being so kind to one of my kids. Like it was just like gave my kids so much attention that I feel like if there's
So you
anybody
want to make
who's
him uncomfortable?
I
Mm.
feel like I got the best shot of going a full 60 seconds with Piglet.
I mean,
I'll
you could do
report back
multiple
regardless
hugs.
of the outcome.
You could
Regardless of
try it
the
with
outcome, I'll
different
report back.
characters and see who holds it longer.
Mm, yeah,
We
who
could have
knows?
a whole rating system.
This is going to be a different kind of Disney trip. This is going to
For
be
sure.
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Maybe
All right,
when
let's
you
get
get
back
You're
to
to Disney.
the third character, they already got your name and picture
Yeah,
blasting out the Disney. Like, stay away from this.
yeah,
yeah.
500
I
feet.
really don't want to be on a list of any kind. Like, I just would like to make sure I'm not on a list. That's all.
All right. Well, let's get back to Derek. So, Derek, I'd love to start with like your card collecting journey, except for Joe.
Mhm.
Mike and I are big collectors. So, like, when did you start? Like, who's your PC? Did you stop at all? Did you get back into it? All that. I'll turn it over to you.
So I just started in August last year. I was never been into card collecting before. Um, big on memorabilia, so I was collecting, helmets and autographed jerseys for, for the man cave. And then around August, I took over soccer coaching for my son's soccer team. The head coach got injured, was out at the beginning of the season. needed a parent to volunteer, so I ended up volunteering to take over team. Zero experience in soccer, so a lot of late hours watching
Right
YouTube
on.
and yeah,
Just
and
go
Google.
right in. I love
Yeah,
that.
just jump right
Yep.
into it, and yeah, and then uh, soccer team on my son's 14U team made it to the county championship, and we won. Right, and
Ooh.
much of that is to, of course, the coach, and then just these kids are just exceptional. I mean, they are minimum coaching. It just needed somebody to be there to support and set up the field, and and just encourage them as they, do their thing. But end of the year, I wanted to do, a little special gift. So throughout the season, I was asking them, "Who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite soccer player?" And I got names from Mbappe to Messi to CR7 all the way to some older players. And so I started looking for these cards on eBay, and then found myself on Whatnot, and then started collecting their cards. And next, I'm collecting football cards, I'm collecting baseball cards. And so the journey started in August, and that's pretty much it right there.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, can I, before Matt, you ask your next question, I
Yeah,
just
go
have to
ahead.
point something out here because this just adds to like the legend of DLava. And I'm genuinely not trying to be like patronizing. It's just Matt and I have often asked how is he this kind? Like how does he engage this much in shows, and it helps so much. And I know you've donated so many cards, but I just want to point out. So you started this hobby
Oh,
while you were
this is going to be at my expense.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
no, no.
no, it isn't. It's truly to commend Derek as like a good human. So this
Oh, yeah,
started
true.
out of he's volunteering because a
Yep.
coach got injured. He's stepping up, no knowledge of soccer. He just steps up, hops
Just being a
in.
good guy.
And then while he's doing that, he's talking about, hey, what are your favorite players? And he's trying to like connect with them and give them gifts. And that somehow brings you to Whatnot over, what do you got, like 13,000 followers. It's just, it only adds to one of
Higher.
our questions has been, how much of this, like how
Is
much
he a
of this
saint?
is like
Is he a
strategic
saint?
growth?
Yeah.
Or how much of it is altruism? We assume it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably strategy, but it's also being a good community member. But it only adds to the story. You literally got into this hobby out of like multiple kind things. So just want to acknowledge that. It's pretty impressive. I wish I was like, I just did it because I wanted to like make money, and I really like Michael Jordan. That's my
Yeah. Like
two things.
cards look
Right.
cool and shiny.
Yeah. Yeah. I like shiny cards. That's why
Yeah,
I got
Yeah.
into it.
I was
Yeah.
attracted to the shininess. Yeah.
Anyways, Matt, sorry. Go back to your questions.
No, I mean, I think it's a great point. I guess we'll go there. But before I go into like selling and whatnot, I'm curious, are there any guys you do not sell? Like you will not sell either because I don't know, you love them as a player, like my Drew Bledsoe stuff, or you really just despise them as a player. So is there anyone you really won't sell?
So for PC, I'm a big Niners fan. I used to live across the street from Candlestick Park, where the 49ers play before they moved to Santa Clara. So grew up a big Niners fan, so I PC a lot of 49ers. But I also PC the Jazz. So growing up, we used to live
That's
in
right.
Utah. Never really into basketball until I moved to Utah, and then started following the Jazz in the '90s. And of course, our two epic losses to the Michael Jordan with that crossover and Brian Russell. I mean,
Mm,
it still sings the soul when I think about it. Yeah, so I PC Stockton and Malone all the time, and that's actually how I found Coach Hoop. That's how I found Matt's show. I was jumping around the stream, and I started, and luckily I landed into Matt's show, and he was running a lot of the '90s players that I loved, that took me back to my childhood. So there we go. That's where we found. I started buying my all my PC cards from Matt, and
I'm pretty sure
our
early
relationship
on
just go
he
from
was
there.
my only buyer. Like in that show, I think he was the only one buying. Like I'm not crushing it like he is, number one. But at that point, it was a grind, and I feel like he just came in and like just took over the show, which is impressive. Impressive.
Yeah, and I think that I would attribute that about half of my Stockton collection now actually came from that. Like, actually came from that. So
Nice.
I have
Wow.
but, a few hundreds over here. I would say 50% of it was bought from Matt, and then the other 50 was from Facebook and making deals off the app. So
Love it.
That's
Matt,
cool.
what an
That's cool.
honor, man. Like
I
what that's
know.
so
I know. I'm
cool, right?
excited. I feel
Mm.
like my head's not gonna fit through the door now. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, there's also something to say about like I guess I never really thought of it that way. Like if you're selling, I guess in my brain when I'm on Whatnot and I'm selling cards, I'm kind of assuming that I'm selling to other people who are selling, right? Like it kind of like hits that like the market where it's just like going around and around. And it is kind of interesting to think like, oh yeah, but there's also people that are genuinely seeking out particular players for their PC. And it's kind of nice to know like you might help them, build their PC. It's kind of, I guess, a cool side that I hadn't thought too much about.
I think
Yeah.
like though in the era we mostly do, mostly 90s, like I think people are Jordan buyers. Like, yeah, if you can get a Jordan low,
Yeah.
they're gonna resell it. I get that. But like
Yeah.
they're Jordan collectors, they're 90s collectors. I mean, let's be honest, some of the cards don't have massive value. So they are, but they have like that
Sentimental
nostalgia
value.
value, the
Yeah.
sentimental
Yeah.
value. So I feel like
Mhm.
there are I guess I look at it as that's what most of the people are doing. So when we debate like start price, this is where I feel bad because I just
Mhm.
don't want someone who's like nostalgically like trying to fill in their childhood set to have to pay through the nose for something like that. But um, I don't know. So Derek, all right. So you were collecting, you're buying them for your kids' soccer team and that. At what point were you like, you know what? Let's start selling this. When did that
Mhm.
evolve?
Yeah, that actually happened in early November. So already about a month and a half collecting, and then started acquiring. I think me and you we were talking one time. I was like, wow, I just bought about 40,000 cards on a deal
Yeah.
off app, and so yeah, it quickly escalated, and my garage started
Was your
filling up with
wife like,
cards.
"What are you doing, man?" Like when you came
Yeah,
home with
she
Yeah,
that stuff?
yeah. Let's
yeah
talk about that for a minute. What does your wife think about this?
Mm.
I need to
yeah.
know.
My
We
wife.
need to know.
The first question she asked is like, "Is this a midlife crisis for you?"
Bingo. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Were you like,
yeah,
"Sorta, maybe?" I don't know.
Yeah.
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 And I told her, I told her, I was like, hey, just take this as my retirement activity and hobby. Okay. So then I have to find something to fill up, retiring from the military. And, and it's just be glad that this is keeping me grounded at home, right?
Mhm.
Still here, but just in another room for a couple of hours a day, going through cars. So, yeah. But, yeah. So back to the question, I think I hit like 60,000 cars, I think, something making deals off the app and through Facebook Market and just buying collections. And then um, I was contemplating on selling because I mean, you go into shows and you're like, wow, these guys are making, some good purchases and good sales on these, and it looks enjoyable, something to do. So what really kicked it off was one of the streamers that I was following. At the same time, I was following Matt. He's streaming, and it's only about four of us in the stream, and in the background, it's just the baby. His baby is just crying, like he's running around and hitting her head and running around and then, like she's grabbing cards from the table while he's trying to stream. I mean, just total chaos. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, wow, this guy can do it. I can definitely sell cards. So,
Do you,
and it
do
didn't
you,
stop. Yeah, he didn't pause his stream at all. He just kept flowing right through the cards with the baby screaming and all. So I was just like, yeah, if he
do
can
you
do it.
remember do you remember who that was? Do you remember his
Oh,
whatnot
I'm
name?
I'm still stay friends with him. Yeah, it is. His name is Kavix. Kavix 808. Yeah, I'm still
All
friends
right,
with him.
right on.
Yeah, yeah, still friends with him, and we occasionally hop in each other's show, and and I was highlight him when he jumped to the show. I always tell people, that, look, if you want to thank anybody who motivated me to stream, it's this guy right here on the chat. This
Wow.
guy right here. I'm talking about the first show I went into him, and it was total chaos for him. He was still pushing it and still making sales and having a good time, but stressing out as a dog, But yeah,
That's awesome. So
Mm.
you referenced buying that large collection, and I'm curious, like your card acquisition, and I've seen your shows evolve from, you know, some solid cards to like case hits. So I guess I'm curious, where do you do your card acquisition? Is it still Facebook Marketplace? Is it Whatnot? Is it eBay? Like,
Chick-fil-A parking lots. Yeah.
I mean, don't get in strange people's vans. But he's retired military, so
Yeah.
I feel like he could handle himself better than I
Oh,
could.
yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
He gets in the car, they get out. Like, hey, thanks for the
yeah,
car.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll I haven't got that guy that pulls up and said, "Get in the car," like what happened to Matt.
That was weird.
Yeah. But acquisition wise, I think about 50% of it comes from Whatnot. I mean,
Okay.
if you really do jump stream and just jump throughout the app, you can definitely find some great deals. There are guys on there that are, that are running great cards and get some great deals. But most of the rest of my acquisition does come from Facebook Market. Uh, Locally here, there's not too many card shops. Well, actually, there is no card shop here for sports cards in my area. You have to drive about an hour and a half to 2 hours up to Raleigh or Charlotte. That's about 2.5 hours away for a card shop. So a lot of collectors here in my area that sells on Facebook because there isn't a card shop for them to go in and take their cards to. And so that's actually what kickstarted my collection and selling was one of the folks that I purchased from was actually maybe about 5-10 minutes down the street from me, and huge collection. I bought about a 10,000 piece collection from him that were, I mean, refractors, numbers, autographs,
Oh, that's
PSA
awesome.
stuff that really kicked off my start to my streaming. And so, yeah,
It
Incredible.
smells like an opportunity, though, Mike.
Oh, wait,
no
wait,
card
wait,
shop
wait, wait.
within
Hold
2
on,
hours.
hold on, Matt,
Oh.
Matt, shut up for a minute. Shut up. Come on, ready?
All right.
That smells like an opportunity to me.
Nice.
Oh, did I actually say that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
why I
did. Of
refer
course
to
you
it
did.
because you said it on an earlier show.
I
But
feel
the
like for
opportunity,
shows.
Derek.
Go
ahead,
go
John.
ahead. I had something stupid to say. Sorry, never mind.
Well,
Done.
I'm curious, is the next stage of this midlife crisis for you maybe open up a brick and mortar? If there's nothing in your area,
Yeah, that's what I
feels
was.
like there's
I
a
was
need.
thinking the same thing.
I was
It
thinking we
does
move
smell
down.
like an
Derek, I think on
opportunity.
one show I joked that we're going to go into business together. I think here it is.
Oh
Let's
boy,
go.
here we go.
yeah.
Let's do
I
this.
think with the brick and mortar, I had contemplated it here locally to set up a brick and mortar, but not for the purpose of selling. I think the transition of we see a lot of retail stores and a lot of stuff that are going mostly online. So I think brick and mortar would be more of a place to kind of replicate weekly what they do at the card show, where people come and trade, people come and play games, hang
Mhm.
out and talk more about the hobby than really selling out. Of course, you have your items that will be posted on your shop or sales and stuff, but I think what would drive them home more than go out. Hey, this is the only local area where we can come and hang out and talk about this hobby,
Right.
trade, do all sorts of stuff.
And I think that segues into Aloha. Is this part of the
Yeah,
Aloha? Is it movement?
it is.
Right?
It
Like,
is. That's,
can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm fascinated by
yeah,
this. I feel like
Yeah.
I need to
yeah,
sign up. How do I sign? Is there a
yeah.
card? Can I be a
It's
Aloha card carrying person? I'd like to join this
yeah. So
because this is incredible.
there's a community on the app that I found early this year in January. So started my streaming career in November of right around the same week of Thanksgiving. So, and then about a month and a half later, just jumping streams and an individual say Raider Mike was streaming, and he said, "Hey, I really like your show, really like the time for sure. I think you'll be a good fit for our community." So there are communities on the app for the hobby. There's Aloha Movement. There's the Streamers Network (CSN). There's Bomb Squad, Alliance of Extraordinary Streamers. Quite a few communities for the hobby that's on the app. And so uh, the Aloha Movement for the hobby uh, is a community of hobbyists that I'm part of. I'm actually I run the veterans channel that's on that Discord stream for our group. And what the hobby is about is it was created by a guy named Hawaiian Grown out of Hawaii, and what he wanted to do was to bring the spirit of aloha, right, of community about integrity, honor, and doing the hobby right. Because I'm pretty sure that you've been on you go on the app and you see some streamers that are just
Mm,
ridiculously out of control. I mean, just
yelling.
yelling and blaming the buyers or screaming that cops are halfway there when it's
Right.
already 200% overpriced, right? And so He wanted to bring an aspect into this community now that I'm a part of now, and it's about 300 sellers in the community now and growing. And all we do is build off each other. We talk about best practices. We talk about supply chains and inventory. We talk about, we share information about how to get free packing material. We talk about where the hobby might be going. Hey, these are some of the key players to keep an eye out for on eBay to start buying up as we go into these preseason coming up. We talk about, uh, how to receive a raid, right? A lot of folks are not prepared to receive a raid of 100 plus people. And so, how to receive a raid, how to keep a room,
I
how
would agree with
to,
that. I would agree with that.
we do a lot of private shows too with some of our newer sellers that come into the community where we mentor them on some of the stuff. So we'll set up a private show. We'll go in there, hey, fix your lighting. We'll talk about, hey, placement on your giving on the background. We'll talk about, hey, your camera angle is not, it's
That's
showing
awesome.
blurry, kind of move it forward or backwards. And so we'll give feedbacks like that with a lot of our newer shows, and we do that pretty much weekly. We'll go in there and answer some. We'll do a Q&A session just like this where we open the floor to anyone that's having any questions or any trouble that they're having on the app. And then the one thing we always encourage too is that we got to remember that this is a hobby. A lot of it, as you're streaming, it's not a success overnight. A lot of our biggest streamers that a lot of these guys follow that they see that are, making, crazy sales or they've been doing it for quite some time. Right? They've been doing it for years. I didn't realize the app was, this existed until 7 8 months ago. So a lot of these folks are their whole lives, 30 plus years of doing the hobby and selling on eBay, selling this. We have a lot of nice experience with it. So, but the community Aloha Movement is open to all, and we try to, you don't have to. One thing we always try to tell people, you don't have to be Hawaiian to be part of this community. I think about 7% or less of the members are either Pacific Islander of some sort. So I mean, we got members that are across the country, even up in your area in the Northeast, and down all across the nation. So uh, we just tell them that the Aloha movement really is just about the Aloha spirit, bringing it back to the hobby to try to keep the hobby back to its true integrity, which is collecting, right? Enjoying, that's why I enjoy you guys' show so much, Matt, and I enjoy you guys' show so much because it reminds me of the nostalgia of your childhood, right? And so when I run into your show, I see a card, it triggers a memory in my head. I was like, oh wow, I remember when I was 7 years old and I seen that card and I didn't know what
Right.
it was, and and then it starts taking me back to reminding me of some of the things I forgot. Oh yeah, I remember my friend Ian. He used to have this party. Oh my gosh, let me give him a call. So I started reaching out to them, on Facebook, and then really that's why I collect so much my cards from you guys. I love it because a lot of my friends that I still stay in contact with in high school, I love gifting them the stuff that you guys run. I mean, you guys run awesome stuff. Especially Matt, you did was that the Ken Griffey Jr. Magazine, right? With
Yeah.
the rookie cards, and I sent that
Yeah.
out to one of my friends in Texas, and he absolutely loved it, right?
Oh, that's
And then
cool.
right behind me, I have the iconic Bo Jackson with the football pads and with
Yeah.
the card that I bought for your recent show, and that's going in my PC, right? Because it reminds me of back in the day, growing up as a kid and and just taking me back. So no, I really appreciate it. But yeah, it's been awesome, and and the Aloha movement again, it's open to all. And we're all about building each other up, especially any of the newer streamers to get them on the right path and support it best we can.
Mm.
Can
So
I ask, where do you guys meet? Like, do you do it on the Whatnot app? Do you just like start a show and then meet there? Or do you
Mhm.
do it on Discord? Like, how does the group like meet when you meet?
Yeah, so every day one of the guidance we tell streamers is whatever your title of your show is, at the very end, it doesn't have to be visible when it's posted on your profile, but somewhere in your title, we just recommend to put the hashtag Aloha Movement at the end so that every day when we do a poll, we'll go and search hashtag Aloha Movement and it'll bring up the entire daily streamers, right? And so we will pull up all the streamers and then we will post that daily into our Discord. We'll post it, hey, these are all the shows running today. You don't have to buy what, what support is being in the chat, talking it up, and if you see something you like, buy it. But if not, just the engagement in the chat drives that algorithm, right? To get other folks engaged, to get the numbers pushed your way. And the one thing is that when that chat's running and folks are starting to buy, right, the algo starts pushing your stream to be on the what's that word, on the up and coming. I forgot the title of the page where traffic
Like
is
hot
driving a lot of
shows.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we do there. So the one way we help each other is the coordination too would do also raid coordination. So if there's a big milestone, like I did my 10K show about a few weeks ago, and so we post, hey, we got a big milestone. We love to celebrate milestones, especially 1K sales. We know as sellers, once you hit that 1K sales, oh man, that's your number one milestone because now
Yeah.
you can
It's
start,
hard to get there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, withdrawing those funds quickly instead of waiting for it to be delivered. And so we love to celebrate milestone, whether it's a 1K or 5K, and then we'll coordinate raids, right? So we'll like, hey, so and so has a big 5K show coming up to celebrate, and then we're asking for volunteers to raid his show, and then affect that algorithm. So like, hey, his show was popping up on the app a lot higher than the normally.
It's impressive.
Go ahead, Mike. I cut
Talk
you
about
off in the last.
I was just
Uh,
talk about taking a platform that exists and just shaping it into the community you want it to be. That is it is very impressive. Oh my,
I know.
it
I
is
think at one
wild.
point, Mike, you said, is DLava winning or am I losing? I think, and we said it's probably a bit of both.
a bit of both. Yeah.
The guy's an angel. It's got to be both. Like
Well,
the
okay,
way
so
he's in going through the community is so impressive. But go ahead, Brad.
Oh, so I feel like the whole Aloha movement and the idea of community kind of supporting one another, that's one of those things about this hobby that I didn't realize was a big part of it until I joined it, right? So until I became a seller on Whatnot and started following, certain people on Whatnot, that's the thing that's really keeping me coming back. It's less about the cards. Obviously, I love the cards. I love, going to my mailbox every day, seeing what cards I get. That's a huge part of it. I
That's
won't
fun.
lie. It's very fun. It's, Christmas every day, basically. However, as I started to get more connected to specific sellers and buyers and started to actually, my wife calls them my internet friends, but truly they're good people that I do talk to online. And it really is a community. And we've talked about it in this podcast before. The community component is something that really makes this hobby so much more enjoyable. And I just feel like, Derek, what the crew has done in Aloha Movement is you've put a title on it and you've kind of set some ground. It's like an organized community versus just kind of like, anecdotal interactions. And obviously as a result, it puts you in a position where you and all other members can help each other grow, get better, have more positive experiences. And I do, just complete side note, I do want to acknowledge the fact that you said algo. So thank you,
I
right?
know.
Because
He
Joe
clearly
has a
listened.
very strict rule. If you
He
say
gets upset.
algorithm,
It's weird.
it's so I want to highlight that because you mentioned it twice. But so can we? I don't want to, Matt or Joe. I don't know if you have more questions around community, but I would love to at some point talk to Derek about just general practices for growth, because we have commented on previous podcasts about, you started a little after Matt did. And, facetiously, he mentioned earlier in this podcast, like he's at 3,000, you're at, 15K or whatever you're at. So I would love to use some time on this podcast to just pick your brain about, if I was a brand new seller, what would some good practices be to, kind of get that growth, because it is a slow grind on that front end. So what
Yeah.
are some things people can do? But Matt,
Could
I don't
Yeah,
want to
go
jump too far ahead. So go ahead, Matt, if
No,
you have
I just want
questions.
to add more context to this. The last show of Derek's that I was in, I
Mhm.
added about 100 followers just being in his show. So like
Right.
it's real. Like I felt like I was growing, and then it slowed down. It got got stale and I stopped getting new followers. Like I was getting like 30 a show, and just being in his show hanging out, I picked up about 100 followers. So Derek, I think
Mm.
Mike asked a great question. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, and so that's actually one of the focus that in the community that we do is to talk to the new streamers. Right? We invite a lot of new streamers that are in the show because they reach out to us from our shows like, hey, we heard about this community and joined it. So as a newer streamer, the one thing I always ask, this is the question I ask every new streamer, especially when we're doing uh, our professional guidance or growth with in the app is when you, as a buyer, what keeps you in a show, right? And that's the question I always ask them. Like, when you go into a streaming show, before you ever start selling, what keeps you in the show, right? And so, uh, me personally, when I ask that question to myself, it's always two or three things. The number one thing for me is what keeps me in the show um, is the quality of the cards, right? It's what you're looking for, right? So if you go into a show and they're running nothing but base cards, right? That's not what I'm looking for, right? When you're looking for cards that you want, you're looking for a card that is, quality and liquidity to be able to turn around as a seller to sell. Because, like Mike hit up, most of the folks that are in each channel are actually sellers as well, right? And a lot of the guys that will buy your stream are sellers, and they're either turning around to either sell back on the app or sell at a card show or sell on a different platform. So, the quality of cards is usually the one thing. So if you're gonna work in a specific niche, right, whether it's 90s or modern, whichever sports, you got to look into what is the quality of cards in that niche, right? Whether it's and I think what's great with you guys is you guys are really the goats, and those cards are never going to go down. I mean, everybody's always going after Kobe. Everybody's always going after MJ. And then you got these occasional players that everyone's trying to look for that doesn't really run anywhere else. I'd be like Stockton when I come into your room. I want nothing but Stockton Malone's, like for my PC, and so. Um, well, I tell folks, especially on doing shows, like, hey, just find your niche. That's where you want to stay at. So quality cards. Number two, when I go to a show as a buyer, what makes me swipe out quickly is when I see the shipping and the shipping says $5-6 for a card, right? That that automatically swipes me out. Like it's if I'm going to and I'm trying to buy a card for $2 and the shipping is at $5 or $6,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to purchase a card to pay for the shipping like that. So we always tell folks like, hey, if you can minimize your shipping as best as possible. Some of the guidance that we give out to our newer sellers is like, hey, these top loader cards, you can put them at 1 ounce, right? And then you can still fit, a couple, maybe four or five. As long as you're packaged correctly, it can still be in a PW envelope. So your shipping is still only 71 cents instead of pricing it incorrectly at 1 to 3 ounces or 4 to 7 ounces where it costs where the shipping cost is being viewed as $5 to $6. So shipping is the next thing that really kills me from if I go to a stream, I'm trying to purchase it says $5-6. I swipe right and I get to the stream. The third thing is it's the vibe, is the selling. If the room is if the individual that's selling, I tell them like on the app as a seller, you have to be able to, you have to be a presenter as well. Not some people they don't want to go to a show and all they hear is just negativity. They hear the guy complaining about the last card. This, oh, you guys just stole from me, or chat, you just robbed me, or they're being completely negative. That's the vibe really can keep or break a room, right? It really can. So if you go into a room where the individual is just talking about, you know, are not selling cards too, right? So they're just spending the next 2-3 minutes of complaining about a sale and and not moving to the next card. It really could lose your input. You'll see some of these streams where they hover really, really low because they're either complaining about the card. So one thing that we all teach and as a new seller, and I would say to you is that try to find that niche and that quality cards and that niche that you're looking for, that you're looking to sell. And try to keep your shipping low, right? And then just enjoy yourself. The vibe really can carry the room and bring people in. If you're being energetic, if you're being, like just having it just looks like you're enjoying streaming and just, not being held down because somebody bought a $5 card for $2 or a $10 card for $5. It can really drive to keep those people. And like I said, when you're streaming, you're building that relationship with a lot of folks. And I don't know for you guys too as a seller, those folks that keeps coming back because you establish that relationship with them. You build that camaraderie. You build you know, pretty much, just building that good relationship with them, brings them back. So that's what you're doing every time when a new streamer comes in as well. So if you're selling, you got these new folks that are swiping into your room. If you're, complaining about, sales or you're being real negative, right? That's the first time that individual sees you, right? And so, if they swap it in and they just catch you at the wrong spot, you just lost a follower, right? You lost somebody that could have returned to be a newer buyer later on down the street. So, yeah, hope those are some good advices on new streamers. Though, yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Wow, the 3 pillars of DLava. Love it. Okay. So
Well,
guys,
no,
go ahead. Now it's your
well,
turn. Go ahead. Do it. Do it. Just do it.
wait, what are we doing?
Do what he said. Yeah. You got just,
Do
go
those three
for it.
things.
Do
Oh,
those 3
but
things. Yeah.
yeah, this is like a rabbit hole that we have so much more to go into. I want to ask more, but Matt, you go first.
No, I love that point because I have a lot of like kids I coach, younger kids who've started
Yeah.
streaming, and they've asked for advice, and I think those are three very good tangible things to give to someone to work on. And Leo has a show coming up, Rye does a show, and I feel like they mix sometimes that like positive good vibe energy with like being like, come on guys, you're halfway there, because they've learned that. And I keep telling them like, no, we are not the halfway there family. Like that is not,
Mm,
That's right.
we're not doing that. You put
no.
it up for $1 and it sells for $1, like that's on us, and good for them, they got a great deal. um
Mhm.
but I think I love that it's three tangible steps. The teacher in me loves that as well. I can definitely use that. I appreciate it. Go
Mm.
ahead, Mike.
Yeah, yeah, and then with the tangible stuff, right? Like IPC 49ers all day, IPC John Stockton, Carmelo, but there's a difference, and there is a fine line between, what is sellable and not. And I would tell you now, my IPC stock Miller, it is not a sellable, pair
True
player.
Bledsoe.
You
I'm
have
with
to
you.
be in that specific, search for or that person that grew up watching jazz, and so you're limiting yourself, right? And so I tend to tell folks that look, I think it's amazing that you collect these as PC, but just know that it may not sell, right? It may not sell. Well, if you're PCing Jordan and Kobe, of course, yeah, all day it'll sell. But if
Expensive
you're trying
PC
to,
though.
yeah,
Mm,
it is. But if you're trying to pull, if you're, one thing I tell people mind is like, hey, your PC may not be it's not liquid. It's not be able to be sold. So just keep that in mind as you're collecting. We talk about quality, right? And then the other thing too is let's call it. We tell folks about. Um, with the vibe and stuff, it's easily to get caught up on a really bad sale, right? Especially one single sale can really throw you off. Right? So we tell folks like look at it as a game of poker when you go to a table. Like, don't don't get stuck on that one hand, right? That one hand you could have lost, or you could have lost two hands, right? The goal is at the end of the day, you walk away, with either breaking even or you're in the positive, right? You make that profit. So don't get caught up on one sale that it's worth a $20 card and it's sold for $2 because um, you know that one sale could be the only one. And if you go down that rabbit hole, the vibe starts changing. You'll start noticing the room starts dropping, less swipes. So just always keep that energy up, just act as if it never affected you. Keep that poker face and just move on to the next auction. But maintain that good vibe because again, it really does hold the room when everyone's having a good time. And then as move on to the next auction and you keep that positive vibe, it really does carry forward. It keeps the room going.
Mm.
yeah, I keep trying to tell these guys think it's not a loss. Like it's a cost. Like, but
Mhm.
at some point there's some gain there. Like you just sold somebody, they got a really good deal through your stream. That's
Mhm.
gonna bring them back. It's gonna also word of mouth get around and have people be like, "Hey, I got really good deals on this guy's
Mhm.
channel or stream," or whatever you wanna call it. I mean, I think it just grows if you
I
maintain it and, it's
Mhm.
there's a reward there,
Joe,
even though you took a hit, but
I get it, and I think early on it's hard to see that. So I think this is great that he
yeah.
works with the newer sellers because it is
Right.
hard to like swallow that at
Yeah.
Mhm.
first. But I find now like I have another slam stream coming up, and the Kobe slam I might or might not break even on it because
Right.
it's like a $70 card, but it'll probably sell
Mhm.
for like 60. I'm
Mhm.
totally good with that because all those $5 slams will sell for 10. And
Right.
Mhm.
like, so like that's where I think you get used to that the more you do it, but it is
Yeah.
hard at first.
Yeah.
Well, I think I totally agree, Matt. I feel like two things need to happen for a seller to realize that. One, you just have to stream a lot and you slowly start to see that it's at minimum it's kind of a wash at the end. And then eventually if things are going well, you're making a little profit over time in the aggregate, not necessarily card to card to card. But the other piece too is, and this is where Aloha Movement or any community is important, is you need a group of people where you can talk to about those. Let's say you buy a $50 card, you sell it for $15. You need to be able to talk to other sellers and outside of your stream so that you're not killing the vibe, right? But you have a place to say, man, like this isn't working. I'm spending, $50 on a card and
That's
I'm
a good
selling
point.
it for, a quarter of
Yeah.
the price or whatever. And having other sellers just say, yeah, no, that happens to all of us. Like that's
Mhm.
part of it. Don't
Or
sweat
that
it.
guy's
Keep
not
going.
liquid. Maybe don't invest in that player,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Mhm.
learn from it too, depending
Yeah.
on the card. Derek, I'm curious
Yeah.
about your thoughts. So if you listen to our podcast from like episode 1 all the way through,
Mhm.
you'll notice that like the first few podcast episodes that we had, we talked a lot about different starting bid prices, and I feel like
Mhm.
it was because we were experimenting. We were newer, obviously, than we are now, though we still got a lot of growth room for growth. But I'm curious. So if you're a new seller, and let's say participation, you're lucky if you get to 10 or more in your
Mhm.
room. Start price bidding, right? That's very hard. If you have a $60 Kobe rookie,
We
you
should ask
can't
him if it's an ethical responsibility too, by the
we
way.
can get into that, but I'm more because we're talking more, like new seller just tips. I think this is I think a lot of people would like to hear some of this stuff. So
Mhm.
the how do you recommend a starting price? Knowing that, like, so right now, I think, like, I've been going down. I think my starting price now is just across the board $2. So it's actually simple, right? Like, I just sell
Mhm.
everything at 2, and I hope for the best. But if you only have, 7 or 8 people in your room, and you're selling a $60 Kobe rookie and you're starting it at 2, you almost will for sure take a loss.
Yeah.
How do you advise the new seller who's at that level with those kinds of cards? How do you recommend they start their price?
Yeah. I so for newer sellers that come in the app, I would recommend that never start at a dollar. Never start at a dollar. You have to also look at your inventory, your cards, and the quality of cards that you have. And so, if you're starting at $2, let's say I'm looking through my inventory of 100 cards. And what I know from these cards is that these cards will go or it's being bought up. It's like Quinn Ewers, or not Quinn Ewers, but like Jackson Dart cards, or Drake May was in the height at that time with the height. Cards that we know that are sell. I know that if I run it for $2, it's going to sell for $2 now. Are these cards worth $2 or $4 or $6? Right. And so we would tell sellers it's like, hey, like, make sure that when you're going through your stuff, don't just jump in the stream and just start running every card at $2. So I don't recommend as new sellers go to start the price at $1. I would recommend at least $2 if your cards are in the value, of $2 to $4. Anything cards that are higher end cards, don't recommend new sellers to sell those cards in their stream because you will 100% get cooked on those cards. You will lose 50% profit or even 75, right? Especially in the room if you only have, a few folks that are just hanging out. Those ones we would recommend like, hey, utilize your market app on the app, right? Post those cards on the app. And then one thing that we also do on Discord is that we run auctions on our Discord. We run raffles, right? And so in our Discord, we recommend to a lot of our sellers that hey, we know for sure you will never get 100% comp on this card that's worth $100 on the app. You'll be lucky if, especially with some of the rooms, you maybe get $60 or, 70 on a card that's worth 100. So, we give that opportunity on the Discord side to run the card at 100% card at no fee. So when you go on the app, you
Hmm.
lose them. 13% fee plus a 30 cents on each individual sale. Where on Discord side, we tell folks, hey, if you know you're going to lose in the app, just put it into our RAS, and that gives everyone the opportunity to buy, let's say a 20 slot at $10 a piece, and you get 100% of your top, zero fee, and then everyone gets the opportunity to win a, $100 or $200 card for $10. Right? So with our newer sellers, highly recommend do not start at $1. Look at your inventory, and based on your inventory, let's say you have 100 cards that are worth about $4 to $6 each. You can start at $2. Just know that if it's $2, you're going to get at least 50%, right? But some of your card too, you can project that if it's going to go for higher, like a Jackson Dart, like I said, or one of these big sought after, really high foot cards. Now, if you're looking through your inventory and you see nothing but base cards or cards that are not being bought across half, right? You go through other streams, you see cards that are not being bought. We tell them to stay away from this cards. Kind of see where the current trend is, where the hype of the players are, and
Mhm.
then try to purchase those cards because those will be the sellable cards at this moment.
Mm. Yeah, that's good, Joe.
Would you say that in the beginning you would expect more of a loss situation as far as selling in, at least in the beginning?
Mhm.
Just, I mean, you have no audience, you got
Mhm.
to start from scratch. You're going to take
Yeah.
some hits in the beginning, and eventually those hits will hopefully turn out to be a
Mhm.
bigger crowd that comes and joins you. Now you have some people that are in the room, that now bidding starts to happen, and because you
Mhm.
have more people. So I feel like it's it's like you have to say, uh, like, no, in your mind, like, I'm going to take a loss. Like, I can't be in
Yeah.
this right from the start and
Mhm.
expect to win right as soon as I walk
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And I just think that's, like, I guess, part of the territory, right? Like, would you
Yeah.
guys agree? Like,
Yeah.
you just no
Yeah,
way
I
around it.
100% agree. I 100%
Yeah.
agree with that because your
Yeah.
focus as a new seller, as you're establishing your brand, right? You as a seller is building your room, right? Building those followers, those returning buyers, right? Because as you stream, nobody's in the room. All the buyers are more focused on other known sellers. So as you are building, right? As you are a new streamer, that is your building phase. You're establishing yourself as a brand, somebody that's selling this type of cards at this price, right, with these good vibes, and so those really will bring back those return sellers and then other sellers, right? They'll start sharing your name across. I mean, at the beginning when I first started, my room would be about 7 people and 10 people, and 20 people, and definitely was not making a profit. But uh, at that time, just talking to a lot of once I got into the community, that's when I really started building this. A lot of the guidance and the lessons
Mm.
to learn that they shared really helped me establish myself as a seller. Start going by following those those lessons that they did.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
So
There you go.
Matt, you want to ask something? I can tell. So I was about to
no,
cut you off. You
I,
go. You go.
I've wondered. So Derek's such a nice guy. We've talked about this. He got into this hobby as like helping kids as a volunteer coach. Like I've always wondered how this man. I've learned he was a retired drill sergeant as well. I've wondered how
Oh,
such a
we
kind
need to
man
dig into that.
can like it. We don't have military service, and Derek, I do
Mhm.
thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I so my knowledge of military is really from like
Mhm.
mainstream media, if you will, like movies. So I envision a drill sergeant being like in your face, ready to just like rip your face off.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
to some degree, I've wondered like, how is this angel of a man also that? And then I hear you speak directly about this and
Mhm.
like so succinct and like kind of like I wanna follow you. Like, yeah, I'm in. I
Mhm.
kinda get it a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, guys, are you getting the same vibe as I am? Like, I could see the 2 sides of DLava, not that they're ever that movie side, but, like, I am curious, like, how you balance that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's retired 20 years, and about 3 years of my time, I was on orders to serve as a drill sergeant. And so in the Marine Corps, you have your drill instructors. In the Army, you have your drill sergeants. And so those are the folks that train the new level soldiers that are coming in to teach them the values of what the Army is and what to expect as they move forward in their career. And so, as a drill sergeant, it's I, the reason why I'm so more mellow now and calm and enjoy. It's really I always tell folks that, man, I used up all my anger in that 3 years that I have no more anger left in me. So and it gets so tiring. It really is tiresome to be angry and be upset at something that really doesn't matter to you. So when you go into work, as a drill sergeant, you're waking up at 3 in the morning. You're meeting with your fellow drill sergeants at 4. You're waking up the barracks at 4:30 in the morning, and then you go 16 hours straight of just being stern and upset, or not upset, but just ensuring that everyone's aligned. And so it takes a lot of energy. I mean, we would show up at 4 in the morning. We would have to blast these music, rock music to purposely make us upset to go be like to yell out something about a uniform, and it's very important, right? Attention to detail, ensuring that they're
Hmm.
following orders, which is really why the whole process is set up the way it is. But 3 years of that, I mean, when I left that, I don't want to be angry anymore. I'm so tired. So now it's more of a mellow.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Um, was it difficult? And now, maybe this is true or not true, but when you're reprimanding or yelling at a cadet, do you have to come up on the fly with a great insult? Like, because I notice in the movies, like, they
Mhm.
always say something extremely
Oh
witty,
yes.
and it's just really just devastating.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
do you is that natural? Does it come natural to you, or did you have to at night, do you script out, like, do you write, like, "Oh, you know
Hmm.
what? If I just said this, I could really take him down a
Yeah.
peg if I said this."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Now there
could
are
could
there are folks. Yes.
I was gonna say, could you possibly drill sergeant us? Is that
Oh,
I can't.
is
I don't
that
think I can handle that.
No,
I
he,
think
he just said
I was
he just
Oh,
said he's tired. He doesn't want to do that. And I don't think I'm ready for that. There's a
yeah.
reason why
Mike's
we're
gonna
not.
test the Disney rule. He can't handle
Yeah.
that. Like,
I
yeah.
don't
But I
Well,
I
am
there's
curious about that, Derek.
you don't
there's
have
a
to.
lot to it
I
too. Like there are guys that are when they're serving the drill sergeant, they are just that talented. They can come up with something so witty that on the fly that just like crushes the individual soul. Like you're like, oh, and then you're like, let me note
yeah,
that down. Let me say that later.
yeah,
And some of us
yeah.
like for me, I actually had to practice that. Like so, I'd go home. I'm like, okay, let me write this. And so one of them was like, oh, okay, soldier. I just drank 2 5-hour energy drinks, so that means 10 hours of pain for you for the next 10. Like stuff like that. Like so you would practice stuff, and you wait for those opportunities to be like, once it comes up, it's like the light bulb, you're like turning with the knife hand, yelling at somebody and stuff. And so, there's a lot to it too with the drill sergeant. You go to a 14-week drill sergeant school, right? And they teach you everything from day one as if you were in an actual uh, training, right? The basic training. They teach you everything that you need to understand and why the importance of it, and from day one to graduation. And so, as a drill sergeant, when you go through, there's a lot of stuff that you learn from command voice, right? Emphasis of command voice, the attention to detail, why following orders, right? And reinforcing following orders, right? And there's a parent too, is that when you make, not a threat, but when you say something, you have to follow through, with it, right? And so
Mm.
it's the same thing with when you're a drill sergeant. When you make a threat or when you push something that this is what's going to happen, you have to follow through with it, right? Or that next threat or that next punishment or that next order doesn't come through as
yeah.
as it should. So I mean, but. I don't think I can pull it out for me. I'm trying right now to pull out drill sergeant for lava, but
Thank
No
goodness.
sweat,
quite
no
honest.
sweat.
Thank
But
goodness.
just your kids are so lucky. They grow up, their dad is
Yeah,
is a drill sergeant. How many kids get to say that? I mean, kids say that as a
yeah.
joke. "Oh, your dad's like a
Mhm.
drill sergeant."
Yeah,
Your
we probably
kids
said that about
had a
our dad.
drill
He's the
sergeant.
furthest
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's whoa. Oh boy, that's gonna
yeah,
be a
yeah. My
oh,
son, they when they were kids, they just love wearing the we call it the round brown, which is the drill sergeant hat, right? And so, yeah, I have all these pictures of my kids when they didn't really know what dad was, and all they saw was dad was their dad, and then they didn't see the when the switch turns on and you're in that mode when you're working stuff. So, yeah,
Mm.
But there, I appreciate you guys bringing it up because it's it was actually one of my most enjoyable times in service was that 3 years being able to, to mold the next generation of soldiers and train them and stuff. And, one thing I was told by my soldiers when they were graduating or as they were going through the training, I was always telling, one thing, and I truly believe this even to this day, right? It's what comes out of your mouth has the power to create and destroy. And why are you going to use that to destroy other people? You should always continuously encourage and build up. Even a good morning or how are you doing can mean the world to somebody that might be in the
Mm.
darkest days of their life. So, why not utilize that to continuously build up in each other, and encourage. And it could save a life one day, and why use it to bring somebody down, right? Especially if you have the ability to. So why not? Right? Why not
Mhm.
utilize it for you?
Wow.
Right.
I feel like
As school educators,
world
though.
I
Go
was gonna
ahead,
say
John.
the world just needs more DLava in its life. It
No, I
really does.
totally agree. Well,
It
like
really
as
does.
an educator, that I feel like we've again not as succinctly and not as like clear, but I feel like we have this conversation with kids all the time. Like that little message right there of like just be kind to someone. Like why not add some positivity into someone else's life because you never know like what they're going through. And that's it's cool to hear as someone who's non-military that exist within our military as well. I think that's I love hearing that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And did I hear you were
So,
in the airborne?
Yeah.
Is it
So about 16, yeah, 15 years of it was in the 82nd Airborne here at Fort Bragg. Yeah, and so I retired out as a senior non-commissioned officer. I was also a senior rated jump master in the unit, and so those are the folks that ensure that the paratroopers get out of and exit the aircraft safely. And so uh, total, I have about 54 jumps out of an aircraft here at Fort Bragg and retired. And then there's a senior level or master rated level, which is 65 jumps. I wasn't chasing. I told them, hey, I'm not going to break my body for a couple more jumps to get that reach. But yeah, most of my time here was in the 82nd Airborne and 3 combat deployments to Iraq, uh, about 3.5 years total. And then, yeah, retired out. I was in the infantry first. I was in 11 Bravo infantry to reclass over to medically reclass over to transporter. And so when I retired out, I was a transport coordinator. So that's what I do now as a contractor for, here locally as I assist units with the deployment out in the strategic movement. So anything from cargo to aircraft. So, I do, I work as a senior analyst consultant for the 82nd here on, showing them how the right way to get out of the door.
when you entered the military, were you thinking like did you always want to jump out of an airplane? Was that like and the
No?
fir- and if so the first time that you did it, were you like freaking out? Like the idea of it's
Yeah.
making me feel
Yeah.
like nervous
yeah.
right now just thinking
Yeah.
processing it. Like what
Well,
was
the
that
Army
like?
teaches you the way the Army teaches is that they do it by repetition, right? And so when you do it over and over, when you practice it on the ground before we even get into the aircraft and before we jump out, they do it so much that it becomes muscle memory. Right? And
Okay.
so as you get in that aircraft, your mind may be, oh, what am I thinking? This is the worst decision in your life. But as soon as everything happens, the muscle memory takes over. Your feet starts moving forward and you're next thing you know, your body is jumping up because you're so used to doing it over and over on the ground. And that's the way the Army, a lot of the training is through repetition to build that muscle memory to do it
Mhm.
right every time, over and over. So there are occasions when I did jump, I got injured, towards them, but then having that courage to, to get back into that speed and jump back out, because
Mhm.
it's what you've been doing for your whole career. And so, yeah, about 16 years here with the 82nd. 3 years was on the trail as a drill sergeant. I did a little 1.5 years in Hawaii at the sharp unit, but then retired here in North Carolina and just stayed here. Yeah.
Derek,
Nice. Wow.
when did the with the jumps, and I'm sorry, I know
Mhm.
this is a show about cards, but this is a very
Yeah.
I know.
fascinating subject. So
No, it's
I hope you're
fascinating. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're okay with us kind of digging into this,
Hmm.
and we will. And I
Yeah.
actually do have a very specific whatnot question, so I will get back to
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious from from your start of training where you're building that muscle memory
Mhm.
to, let's say you're 20 jumps in, at what point, like when does it become, or does it become second nature? Like when does it not bother you, right? Like I have to imagine the first
Mhm.
couple are like, yes, muscle memory's working,
Mhm.
you're doing your job, you're doing what you need to
Yeah.
do, but it doesn't mean there isn't a little inner battle happening somewhere on the
Oh yeah.
inside.
I would
Mhm.
feel like muscle memory is my body betraying my thoughts. Like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, no, no. Don't go near the door.
Mine
Don't go near
wouldn't
the
be an
Yeah.
door.
inner battle.
Yeah,
Mine would
and
be an
I'm
outer
sure,
Yeah.
battle. It would just,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it
He's
Mhm.
sounds
throwing up.
like part of the
Yeah.
training is to overcome that inner battle and still
Mhm.
do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, was there ever a point
Mhm.
where the jumps became second nature, where it literally you could just jump right out and it
Mhm.
didn't phase you, like it just
Yeah.
because of the reps? I'm
like in
curious.
Mhm.
Point Break when he just kind of falls back out of the plane like it's no big deal.
Mm.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Like, did it ever look
Mhm.
like that?
Mhm. Well, it's so these are static line jumps. Static line jumps for paratroopers are a little bit different from the free fall. So you got your static line, right? It's already attached to your parachute, and it's already attached to the line in the cable in the aircraft. So as you jump out, the parachute's already being pulled out and deployed from your pack show. But if I had to pinpoint exactly when I felt comfortable and where I'm not, now it's just, normal day, I would say once I got into the double digits, once I got into jump like number 11 or 12, uh, I would just, we get to the point where you put on your parachute and I just go to sleep. I go to sleep and then, get on the aircraft and then, I would pass out and they'll wake you up and say, hey, we're about to get ready. And then, and then just go through the motions. Yeah.
How long
Wow.
has it been since you last jumped out of an airplane?
Oh, let's see. The last jump I had, I think it was 2020, 2020 or 21. Yeah, it's been some time. So, yeah, I
You
retired out in the end of 23, in 23. So, 2021, I think was the last time I jumped. I think 21
do
or
you miss
20.
it?
Yeah.
Do you wanna do it
Oh no,
again?
no,
Do you
no,
miss
no,
it?
no, I
No?
don't miss
Okay,
it.
I don't know. Some
Yeah,
people do. They have
yeah,
that, "Oh, I need that
Yeah.
yeah,
adrenaline
I'd be
rush," but
so
He's
nervous
hit the
for
yeah,
him. Like
quota.
even
He,
knowing
he's
he's jumping out of the plane, I'd be nervous. Like,
yeah, yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, what gets somebody right as you're going through the training is a lot of folks are not used to that, I guess male role model or that voice that's trying to drown out all your doubts out of your head by yelling at you like you can do it, let's go, and so it's drowning out that internal negativity, right? That's making you saying I can't do it because all they're hearing is your voice drowning it all out, right? So as a drill sergeant or as a jump master or as a trainee in the military, that's really what the purpose of it with the with the yelling and with the is to ensure that you follow orders, but two is to take that doubt from your mind and let you know that you can do it, right? And so it pushes them to only listen to you instead of themselves doubting themselves. Because there are cases where individuals they get really nervous and they jump and they won't jump out and so you're not encouraging, you're not pushing to make sure that they actually get it.
So I'm trying
wow.
to figure out a way to segue this topic back to whatnot.
It just seems so trivial. Like it
It
just
it
like
it really, yeah. So I'll reiterate Matt's gratitude for your service. I feel like maybe to shift out of that subject, I'll just, we'll say
Mhm.
thank you.
how
Um,
about how about we go right into, Wheel of Fortune?
Well, okay, but hold on. I just want to get one more. When we were talking about some kind of advice
Okay,
for
alright.
beginning sellers,
Yeah.
I selfishly, because I'm a
this is not
beginning
for
seller.
beginner. This is for us too. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
I do. I mean, so I think I have like 1.6K followers. So I'm still in the very early novice stage. I'm growing pretty well, but I'm also not streaming a ton, right? So like
Mhm.
I'm comfortable with where I'm at, but I still have a lot of room for growth. Um, but I'm curious what your perspective is on use of some of the paid sponsor, I forget what it's called, like the sponsored
Boost.
clicks, yeah,
Boost.
and then
Mhm.
the boost function. I'm
Yeah.
curious kind of like what advice you would have to anybody who's looking to grow and maybe taking advantage, because obviously that's eating into profits as well.
Mhm.
So finding the balance of using that effectively, particularly in the growth stage, right? When somebody's
Mhm.
really trying to build up their channel or stream or whatever.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So as a new seller, some of the guidance that me personally, when I share with a lot of new sellers is to, right, what can we control to keep your margins down? Right? So shipping, that's some of the supplies that you can get from USPS for free, stuff like that. Now, when it comes to promotion sales, me personally, I don't recommend it to new sellers until you establish yourself to the point where you're actually making sales, right? You finally found your groove, you found your flow, you found your format where you're running your specific niche. You have your return buyers coming in and out buying, right? And the reason why I don't recommend paid promotion, especially for new sellers, is because if you look at the analytics of the promotion, is there a profitable conversion of the number of new sellers that the app is pushing to you from that paid promotion to converting to sales, right? To sales. Are these new sellers coming in? And most of the time, it's no. Right? You'll see some of your newer sellers coming in. You paid for a promotional that's maybe $15 for 15 minutes or $15 an hour, and you ran a stream for 2 3 hours, and you paid 45 or there's $60 total for your promotion. But if you look at the analytics of the new sellers, yeah, I brought in um, newer sellers to the group, but did it convert to sales? Did it convert to followers? Right? And a lot of the times it's a no for newer sellers, right? And so what I always recommend to newer sellers, like let's try to work on what you can control to keep your profits or your costs down, which is shipping, supplies, and then once you find your format where you're established with a certain niche or established that now you have return buyers that are coming in. And there's a lot more with the return buyer too, because one thing you got to pay attention to if you look at your analytics, it'll give you a list of all your who bought the most and who spent the most, right? Who bought the most amount of items, who spent the most in your food, and those are the ones that you should be always messaging. Hey, I'm running the next show, right? So to
Right.
encourage those new sellers to come back in. One of the other things we tell new sellers as well is that a term that we use. My friend Nick from All the Collectibles, he came up with this term is bake the bookmarks. Bake the bookmarks. As a new seller, you should always be trying to push that in your stream and say, bookmark my next show, bookmark my future show, bookmark all my shows because um, you can always adjust your show. You can always reschedule a show, and those bookmarks will transfer with that show if you push it a week later, right? And the great thing about bookmarking is that when you when you go live, when that individual that bookmarks your show, that is the first show that they will see pop up on their app when they log into the app. So that's what we always tell folks: bookmark the show. Try to push bookmark as a new seller. That's where you're going to build those return sellers. That's how you're going to build those that algo to come to you, right? Because as those you say you have 50 bookmarks, when you go live and that individual logs into their app, or even if they're off app and they have the notification on, it will pop up at the top of the screen that Restaurant Ripping is running or Coach Keep is running, or when they log into the app, that's the first show that they see on their app is that bookmark show that they save. So bake the bookmark. I don't recommend paid promotion until you establish yourself to a certain point. And then really what's benefit the most for promotion is the people that your buyers promotion, right? So if you get to the point where your buyers now are promoting you because you built that relationship with you, and they're coming in and they want to sponsor you because they love you, they love your stream, they love what you sell, right? And they just want to show some love to you because you've been amazing as a streamer to help them out with their cars and their purchases that they've been looking for. Uh, Paid promotion from the buyer is awesome. It's a sign that you know that you're establishing yourself too because A, it's free, it doesn't cost you any money, right? To pay promotion from the buyer, and then B, it's just nothing but profit from there. So all those new boosts that are coming into your show is now becoming it's all earned profit and stuff. It didn't cost you anything. So yeah. I hope
So
that
can
answers
I
your question.
can I ask a
It does.
follow up
Thanks.
around that? I think it's two parts. The first part being for the new sellers, how many shows do you advise them to create so that they can start banking those bookmarks? Because I always
Oh yes.
find I'll see a new seller with like no shows built,
Oh
and they'll
yeah.
be like, and I'll send them a little message, "Hey, you build more shows, I'll bookmark all of them."
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so, how many do you recommend?
Oh yeah, at least 8 to 10 minimum. At least 8 to 10 minimum every show. Uh, and I tell folks is the more you bookmark, it's better because if you have that one person that goes in and just bookmark all your entire show, boom, you have one bookmark on your entire show, and then over time, especially if you have a show that's set out in September or let's say it's set out in November, right? It's been building up by all these bookmarks. So by the time you do run that show, it's already had 40 or 50 or 100 bookmarks, and so when you do run it, all those folks that were, bookmarking your show 2, 3 months ago, boom, it pops up to their stream. They're like, oh, hey, there's Coach Hoops again. I haven't been to the show, but it popped up on my notification, or it's the first one I see when I log into the app. So, it drives that algo and those folks back to your stream. Yeah.
So, along those lines, I'm noticing your shows are having like 500, 600 bookmarks. Is it just that you've grown your followers so much, or is it just a lot of the same stuff? You're just pushing it in your shows? Like, are you doing anything specific? Is it your community? Like, how are they getting to like 600? Feels like wow,
Yeah,
Oh
you've
yeah,
good
made it.
question.
yeah. I think and so one of the things I think really that's drive a lot of my bookmarks too is like I talked about earlier, like quality of cards, right? Shipping is low, and then folks do get some good deals on the show too as well. But then one of the main ones too is my giveaway. Right, my
Mhm.
giveaways is really drives a lot of folks to come and follow as well. I mean, if you, I love to read. I don't know if you guys do this, but I do this before I go to a show. Is that if I'm not in the right mindset, right, and I try to run my shows to be more of just they just be enjoying and having a good time, but if I ever have a pretty down day before I go to the show, I'll hop into my reviews and I'll read my reviews before I go to a show. And
Mm.
I'm
Oh,
telling you,
that's
it's
cool.
it's such a big booster, morale wise for you to read what people say about you. And so before I go to the show to set my mindset, I'll I'll read those, and then boom, I'm going to the show because I just read all these cool comments from folks saying, "Hey, I appreciate the giving. Right, my son loved this giveaway that you sent him," or "Thank you for the PC card. I've been searching for this card, and you gave me a great deal on it." Or another guy said, "I can't believe you gave this away, and I want it, and I'm coming back to buy your show." Like it really is a boost morale
Mhm.
wise and emotionally for you to go into the show in the right mindset.
Mm. Mm. So that's a nice segue for me because I actually got I just got some cards delivered from a seller who was on a recent podcast, Nux Metal, right? And so he and I have had a lot of conversations around some of the tactics you've taken in terms of your engagement when you're in a stream as a buyer. And so we've talked about that. We've talked about that on this podcast too, in particular around like how there was, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a stream that I was running
Mhm.
and you donated maybe 4 or 5 different Kobe's to the Givey, which was it was actually timed perfectly. Obviously, you didn't know this, but that was a stream that I was almost not going to run because my supply wasn't great. I didn't
Mhm.
have Giveys that I love, so I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's not going to be great. But I figured, whatever, we'll go on, we'll run it for an hour, and if it keeps
Mhm.
going, it keeps going. But because now all of a sudden I had not
Yeah, these
I'm not going to say
great
like
giveaways.
high level Kobe's, but as far they're
Yeah.
let's say they're $10 Kobe's, but now they're a
Mhm.
Givey. For a Givey, that's a solid Givey, and of course you donated. So um, we talked about that in this podcast. We talked about how, like, how much of that is altruism, how much of that is just, it's a great way to grow followers. Because of course,
Mhm.
I'm saying 100 times as the seller, oh, you guys got to follow DLava. This
Mhm.
guy's amazing. And people are going on the stream and they're, and some of these people you already knew, some of the, the people that were on there. But anyways, so long story short, I received the cards that I bought from Nux Metal, and he left a little note in there that I'm just going to quickly read because I think he's only maybe done 3 or 4 streams, So he's still very much in the early growth stage. But he wrote, when I got my card, he wrote, "Thanks, dude. You really helped the stream tonight." And this is, I quote this. I don't know if you could see it here, but it says, "You are my DLava." So he said that. And then, and this is a nod to our podcast here. He wrote, "Thanks, retro ropping," because just
Ah, perfect.
Well, it's funny. I went into Nux's show soon
Yeah.
after I was in DLava's show, and I'm watching people donate back, donate back, donate back, and I went into Nux Metals and I bought a Wemby rookie and said, "Hey, why don't you give it away?" Just trying to pay it forward, basically. And he was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. He froze. He's like,
Yeah.
is that okay? I gotta ship it to you. I was like, I promise you, you don't have to ship me anything. Just give it as part of the giveaway. I appreciate you coming on our podcast and the show you run. And he was almost floored that it could happen that way.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I won't lie. Oh, go ahead, Derek. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
So I won't lie, Matt. We talk about what might motivate somebody to do a good thing, right? There was a part of me, the show that you donated to Nux, it was the same show I donated. And
that's funny.
I only felt competitive with you because he had mentioned in the Givey, he had mentioned, he was like, "And this one's donated by Coach Hoops." At that point, I think you had signed off, you weren't on the app anymore.
I was actually at my kid's baseball game, so I just quickly did it.
And once I heard that Coach Hoops had donated, I was like, no way. No way is he going to be the only one donating. So then
that's why you donated.
Maybe 6 high quality cards I donated because I wanted to completely crush your one Wemby. So I was buying Wembys, Jordans, donating all of them. But yeah,
we should unpack that a different day. But yeah, that's the you and me issue.
Isn't that called? It's called spite donating, right? You donated out of spite.
But I will say I felt proud, and I do, not to go cheesy here, DLava, but I do want to say that when you had gone onto my stream and you had done that, there's definitely a contagious component to that. And that's all kind of, I think, on brand with Aloha Movement, right? Where it's the idea of people just trying to help people out, genuinely trying to help make this hobby enjoyable and fulfilling and rewarding. And so when you talk about reading your reviews, again, cheesy, but I've kept this note because for me, it's a good reminder, not just to motivate me before a show, but to kind of remind me of, this is not my career. I'm not doing this to make millions. Right. I'll accept making millions if that happens. Great. But that's not my why.
I think it's gonna, but yeah.
I'm not holding my breath. But my point is
selling $5 Jordans is gonna make you a millionaire, but that's
take a little while. It's gonna take a little bit. No, but my point is it's a good little thing that I can read before I use the Whatnot app as a buyer or a seller, as a reminder of, we're members of a community. There's a lot of us out there that are just enjoying this hobby. So if we can support one another as we enjoy it, it makes it that much better. So I say that only because it connects directly to kind of the concept of reading something that keeps your mindset right before you hop on to the stream. But I had cut you off. Were you gonna say something, Derek?
Oh, I'll say, so episode 19 of Wicked Good Fools, right? When you brought it up about, coming into your stream and then telling Matt, I wasn't trying to steal DLava and stuff. And so it's funny because Matt sent me this card, right? Here's the infamous card with the phone number that Matt sent me. That he was, with the phone number in here, and
I thought I blew it. I thought I overstepped.
Well, it brings me to the next question, Derek. How do you feel about being Matt's best friend now?
I think
that's really what it's. Yeah, he refers to you at family parties my best friend DLava.
Calm down, Joe. I don't
feel pressure to reciprocate.
Yeah. You are his best friend. I understand it may not be the other way around.
DLava is too much for any one person. I gotta share him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, and you know, honestly, I look at Matt as a good friend as well because when I first started, Matt's show was the one of the first shows that I've ever been on, right, in the app, and it was one of the first shows that I enjoyed so much because it reminded me of all the stuff that was really reminded me of my childhood and growing up, and so you know, and that's why I continuously come back because Matt's a great streamer. He runs cards that really takes me down that memory lane, right, and really what the hobby does for a lot of us, right? It reminds us of those childhood years when we were worry free, right, about anything in life and just enjoying life as a kid, and so uh, but that's what led me into Mike's show, right? Was Matt, right? And so I wanted to bless it forward, and I found a date that Mike was running, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into here, and I'm gonna go. Um, he doesn't know me, and I'm gonna go there. I'm just gonna bless
Oh, he knew you.
Mike with
Oh, he knew
PayPal.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So ended up going to the show, and honestly, like a lot of the giveaways, I don't do it with any expectation of anything returning to me. Even followers, even highlighting and all that stuff. I don't do it for that. I do it for folks that I think is good people. I do it for folks that I like watching and streaming, and then I do it for folks because somebody asked me to, and if I have the ability to, then why not? And that's my mindset when I go into a stream. I didn't know Mike. I only know Mike through just listening to the app, all right, to the podcast, and through Matt, right, talking about him and his brother joining this hobby and coming in and doing it. So I don't do it all the time, do other things, you know. So, but occasionally, if I see somebody that I like watching, I'll always try to assist in building his room, building the environment to be more favorable for as a seller, and I'll always buy something and donate it. Yeah. And I look at it more of an investment too, because I'm invested into that guy that's streaming, and hopefully we build good relationships that we become, connected on that to support each other.
So he doesn't spite donate like Mike does.
No,
He actually does it for a
no,
good person.
Yeah.
Well, I still felt it wasn't only spite. I'll just say like spite gave me the idea. But
But
then I was honored to it really was a concept, Eric, that like the idea of going into a stream with the intent to support it and to help it was truly something that I don't know if I'm a selfish person, but initially I didn't get into whatnot for that reason. But I find that, that feeling, so when that happened with Nux's show, I found that I enjoyed that feeling as much as, when you have that really great show that you run, and you're walking out going, wow, that was engaging and that was good sales, all that stuff. I find that those are pretty equivalent. They're pretty positive experiences regardless. So it makes
yeah,
it enjoyable. It's just one more way to enjoy the
yeah,
process.
well,
yeah,
and
and
like
100%
your
agree.
For the record, I'd just like to say that's the only reason I pop into shows is to support people. I mean, I'm
yeah,
not there to buy
Joe.
cards.
But we've
Yeah, I
established,
do it.
Joe, that you're the nice brother. You're the
You're the
nice
Right,
sweet
brother.
one.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the
So
sweet
we're
one.
not, yeah. Although it was a little weird that you just tried to get credit for being sweet.
Yeah,
So
that's not
I,
as
just
I
sweet.
saying.
But
I'm not. It's not beneath me. I will go for it.
um,
Fair enough.
so
Look at me.
I will say I got into the hobby for nostalgia and like the hunt. Those are the two
Yeah.
things that I
Mhm.
really like. And like Mike's wife, my wife often makes fun of me for the development of some of my internet friends. Like I talk about DLava in my house like he's a celebrity to the point where my wife's like, "Is he real? Like, is this a real human?" And I'm like, "No, I promise." And actually, she, I think, was most nervous that I was having him on the show today. I think she's like, "Oh my god, this is like your
This is
thing.
it.
Like this,
Don't
are
screw
you
this up,
okay?
Matt.
Yeah, don't mess it up." And she laughs that I sent my phone number and that whole thing. Um, but what I will say is like I didn't expect the community to be as important as it is. Like, and I don't know why I didn't expect it because when we go to card shows with my kids, when you get sellers that are just really good to kids, I want to support them. I want to buy more from them. And I feel a connection and appreciation that they're paying it forward to the future generation within this hobby. So
Mhm.
I guess I should have guessed that like when you become a streamer or when you become a, whatnot seller, like it is a lot of the people that you meet that keeps bringing you back. Like this is a hobby. I don't want to speak for you, Derek, but like I get a sense that this isn't all of our main incomes. And, you know, it's the enjoyment of it. And yeah, we make a few bucks
Mm,
along the way to cover the hobby a little bit, but like I think I misunderstood that importance and that significance at first, and I've really grown to appreciate it, and, you know, your friendship, Derek, has meant a lot, and, you know, it's nice.
mm,
He's so good to my family, and it was nice learning about his family and, like, what
mm.
his daughter's big, what she's trying to pursue going to college, and it's really meant, I think, a lot in the way I now look at this and keep coming back, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
When we started this podcast, did we ever think that this would end up being like a journey bringing us to like we're now good people? When
I
when we
I didn't
started
think that
this,
was
like I got to be
possible for
honest,
you,
I
Mike.
didn't think like I didn't well, thanks. I kind of felt the same about you, but all I'm saying is like I guess when we started this whole journey that is selling, that is doing this podcast, I just I view us as just like idiots. And I guess I still view us that way.
Well, we're still
But
idiots.
but just slowly through the act of making more and more connections with other good people out there, it's kind of like, all right, who do I want to be? Do I want to be the guy that says halfway there, you're halfway there, or do I want to be the person that's like supportive to the other, other people? And so obviously the
I
choice
find
is obvious,
myself
but
now trying to go find streams of like low volume, low
yes.
viewership, and then like donate something to them, like kind of and I don't know them, just to be
Yep.
like, hey, early on it sucks. Like I get it, it's
Mhm.
hard.
Mm.
So like here's a good giveaway. Joe, go ahead. Are we way over time?
No, well, yeah,
We
time's
yeah.
running long, and it's okay.
Sorry,
I
Derek. Are
just
you in a rush at all? Derek,
uh,
we don't want to hold you
Oh
up.
no, no,
Okay.
no, I'm
okay,
good.
Okay.
all right.
All
So
right. Yeah.
should we just for time to get it in? Should we jump into the wickedest poll of the week? Do you
We
want
Let's
to?
should.
do that. And then we should just do a quick question around Wheel of Fortune. So let's do wickedest poll of the week, Wheel of Fortune, wrap up. Does that sound
Okay,
good?
here we go. Here's the
Sounds like an
intro.
agenda.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So, Derek, when we have a guest on, this goes a little bit different. Me and Mike go first. You're
Okay.
on the spot. You have to choose a winner of the two who goes against you. So that's kind of how it goes. But I really regret my choice. Actually, I wish I picked a John Stockton, knowing that Derek was
I
coming on.
know. I
And I
know.
really wish
I
I
was
would
thinking the
have could
same
have
thing
swayed
when
the
he was
vote.
talking about his PC. Yeah.
But I'll go first, and I got it this morning. I pivoted as of the yard sale at 7 a.m. So I picked up a dual card at Team Leaders, Milwaukee Bucks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robinson, 1969 NBA card. Let's see, I forget. It's the brand. It's a Topps card. So yeah, I got it this morning. The guy I went to had a giant vintage collection, so I bought a ton of basketball from him, and some baseball. I don't really know the early vintage baseball stuff, but I did a little bit of that. So that is my pull of the week. Mike, you're up.
Ugh, I don't feel good about this anymore. That was a
Yeah,
bomb, Matt. That's
yeah.
hard to compete with. Can I just concede? Can I just say no? I don't want to partake.
If you pick like a
Um,
Disney card because you're going, that's gonna be amazing.
no, it's not a Disney card. Only because I feel like the last show I did a Disney card, so two Disney cards in a row might be a little weird. All right, so I chose it's definitely in the junk wax era, so it's not as unique and specific as Matt. But I actually chose the NBA Hoops 92-93 Michael Jordan Supreme Court. And the reason why I chose that one is because I feel like the other one, real quick. The other one this is kind of like the more popular one, which is the 93-94. This is the one you see on streams quite a bit. Whereas this one, not that it's like rare, but I feel like you just don't see it as often. And so when I bought this one, I actually bought it like as a pair with these two, the two Supreme Courts. And I was actually, when I saw it, I realized like this is the first time I've ever had this particular card. So I'm excited about it. So again, 92-93 Supreme Court, Michael Jordan NBA Hoops. but again, I kind of feel
Well,
like
I
top
have to
five.
update mine because it says in the little writing 1969 down the bottom, they're very clear. But I think vintage cards didn't do it that way. I think it's when they got the license. So because on the back there's data from 73, 74. So I think my guess it's the 74, 75 card. So I think I
Sounds
didn't mean
like a
to
fake.
I didn't
So
mean to
keep that in
mislead
mind,
you.
Derek. He's giving you a fake card, and at least mine's
guess.
authentic and real.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
got it at a yard sale after it plopped out of my printer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's sure. I
All right.
appreciate
So do you want
Well-
Matt? Okay. So now Derek will go. So what do you got, Derek?
So a lot of good cards to choose from this week. So I got like a Pat Tillman graded
Oh.
9.5 card that came in. I got an
Ooh.
autograph 90s Joe Montana graded card that came in. But I'm not. Those are not my wicked pulls of the week. Those are not my wicked pulls of the week. So
God.
this wicked pulls of the week is just personal to me because this guy is actually my favorite player on the 49ers. My favorite player on the 49ers. And he's from the same island as me. And I have this big PC collection that I'm building up that I hope one day that I'll donate to the Polynesian Football Polynesian Football Association, right? That I was part of in the Bowl back in the day. But this is my wicked pull of the week right here. So this is Jesse Safolu. This is gold number 10 auto, and he was Joe Montana's center and also Steve Young's center, right? So he's got Super Bowl rings with Joe and Steve Young, and he is from the same island. He's my favorite player of all time at IPC. So even though I just got the same time I bought this, I got a Pat Tillman graded card and a Joe Montana on card auto graded. This is my wicked for a week, y'all. So it's
There you
my
go.
PC guy. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. So I suggest you pick Mike to go against because I don't want to battle that.
No,
Like,
I don't want to
that's-
compete against
That
that.
is, I mean,
All
first
right,
of all,
so-
that's so cool. Like, I love the
Sack up,
PC. I
fellas.
love that
Come
you
on
want to
now.
donate it back. But yeah, that puts fear in me.
but
Yeah.
now let's
So
put our
I've been
guest on the
PC.
spot.
Yeah.
So before
you
the
gotta
wicked
pick.
pull between
Yeah,
Matt and
you gotta
Mike, I'm
pick.
gonna have to
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it not because we're good friends, but I'm gonna have to give it to Matt. I'm gonna have to give it to Matt. The wicked pull of the week between you guys. The only reason why is because uh, I mean 7 in the morning the yard sale, right? And then the
Yeah.
card alone is it's an awesome card. I mean, Kareem on there with, and then I think it might be a reprint for the stats too. So I think it's like a 75 or 74 for him.
I think it's a 74, 75 card is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I would have to give it to Matt on this one.
No
right.
problem. I
All
get
right.
it. And
On.
honestly, I'm glad I don't have to compete with your card. So this,
that's
this all works out. I'm happy.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, let
So
me
Mike,
take
you
us-
want to go into take us out, Joe.
Oh, let me take us out.
Yes, this is awesome.
That
I'm not
song's
gonna lie, I
growing on me.
love you guys' songs. So Joe, if you did all those songs, all the
No,
the soundtrack.
I did the prompt to feed to
Mhm.
AI
Through
but that's
AI.
it.
Okay.
Through AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have anything to do other than
Yeah.
and
But you
it got
chose
it wrong.
the style.
Mhm.
Kinda.
Wait,
Yeah.
it
I
got
don't
it
know.
I mean, I
I
love it.
felt like
I
Yeah.
do too.
I was going for something else, and
Mhm.
it produced that. And when I heard it, I was like, I don't need to go any further. I don't care whatever I had planned. This is better than what I thought. So AI knew
Mhm.
me better than I did, and it made the song better than I was actually trying to produce. So
Yeah, I love it.
uh,
Like the opening song for the
Yeah.
show to the wickedest pool and the closing. I love it all. I mean, like I think I listened to the whole track. I think you guys finally played it. One of the
I told you
episodes,
guys.
and so I listened to it, and you know what it takes? It reminds me of. It reminds me of. This is the way I was looking at it. It reminds me of in the same area as like. What's it called the Rocky theme songs with like when it goes to Eye of the Tiger or what's the other one
I get Top Gun
that
vibes out of it, to be
yeah,
honest.
like that good '80s hit vibe, right? For
Yeah.
shows, and it really
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it really does. I mean, yeah, so
Love it.
I
Yeah.
love it. Every time
Uh,
I hear it, it's great. Yeah.
yeah. I'd love to take all the credit for it, but it really was just a prompt. So, but thank you. Thank you. It's
I
yeah.
disliked it at first because it just
Yeah,
felt like,
you
I don't know, a little creepy. Um, and the way Mike talked about it as like so sexy, it like made me uncomfortable listening to it with my mom.
There's a sexy tone in there.
All right.
Come on,
There
But
is.
admit it.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
I
is,
will
yeah.
say it's grown on me. It's grown on me a lot. So
Thank
Yeah.
you.
now
Especially
I've turned around.
the intro to episode 20 when you guys were playing that. Welcome to our 20th show.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
Joe,
I
that was Joe.
did do.
That was
Derek,
That
all
we didn't
Joe.
know
that
about that. We didn't know
yeah,
Yeah, we
about it.
didn't know he was doing that. So when we heard
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
we heard that
yeah.
intro for the first time, I just texted Joe intro question mark because I was in
Yeah.
Yeah.
shock.
Yeah.
It
I
was
was like,
great.
can
Yeah,
you
that
go
one.
back to your
Oh,
real job now? Like, what's happening? All right, let's
I
oh
Mike,
love
you
it.
yeah.
want to ask him about Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah, so as we were kind of thinking about what we wanted to ask about for the show, I think it was Joe or somebody realized that you were a guest on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
So just kind of curious,
How did that happen? Yeah.
how did you make that happen? And then also how did it go? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yeah. So anybody can apply, right? So like I grew up watching Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right, Jeopardy, right? That was like the three um, shows that day. So every morning before I went to school, I would wake up and I would set my grandmother's TV to Price is Right because it read in the morning, right? So I would make her and my mom some breakfast before I took off to school. Set the TV on so that Price is Right is playing when it comes on for
Were
my
you a
grandmother,
one
right?
dollar guy? Would you have bet $1? Was that your move?
Oh, if I knew everybody was over by, if I knew everybody
Yeah,
was like 1,800 up, oh, $1 every day, I'll get on the show.
$1. Yep.
Yeah, and then in the evenings, for dinner time, we would eat dinner and we would watch Jeopardy. Me and my
Yeah.
siblings would be competing who gets the most right, and then into Wheel of Fortune. And so I decided to apply for as a contestant. So you can just go onto the Wheel of Fortune site and apply as a contestant, and then they'll reach out to you when they want to, bring you to uh, a local, I guess, competition or show to see who would get selected. So I submitted the contestant request, and then 4 years later, 4 years later, I get
whoa.
an
Whoa.
email. Yeah, I get an email saying, "Hey, we're going to be in the Raleigh, North Carolina area looking for contestants, and we would like you to come in and try to compete to be on the show." So drove up to Raleigh. They held it at Hyatt Hotel, one of the big conference rooms, and it was like 100 plus people there. 100 plus people that were all invited to compete. Right? So you go into this ballroom or this big conference room, and you're all there, and they explain, hey, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for if you can speak loud and clear, if your presence, right, you're on the show as a person. And so, with the military background, with as a drill sergeant, one of the key things that we learned is inflection of the voice, presenting your command voice to make sure that it's loud and clear and concise on the orders. And so it aided me when I was competing, right? So 110 plus people, and they one by one they went through. They were like, just say a letter, say a letter. I'll take a W, or I'll take I'll take a T, And so right from that, they eliminated like 70% of the folks in the audience.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
okay.
From your command voice, you're loud and clear, and so 70%. Like they told everybody, all right, everybody, go ahead and exit. Then when you come back in, we'll just say the number or the people that are going to stay in. So moved on to the next round. Or made it to the next round, uh, and then they went into the next phase. Like, okay, we want to see how you introduce yourself. When Pat Sajak says, "Hey, welcome to the show. This is Derek. How tell us about yourself." And so they gave you maybe about a few minutes to kind of write something down and practice it right there on the spot. And so they went again down the line. Okay, go ahead, your turn, your turn. And I guess mine was pretty good. They say, okay, now you're in the top 10. Right? And so everyone else, thank you for coming to try to get on the show. We appreciate it. Here's some free stuff, and then have a good rest of your day. So the remaining 10, we came in there, and they just gave us all slots. They say, hey, you guys, congratulations, you're going to be on the live show. We'll email you or reach out to you once the live show is going to be scheduled, and we'll fly you. You just got to fly out, and then you'll get the opportunity to be on the show. So that's how. Yeah,
Oh, it's
and
awesome.
then you pay out of
I
pocket,
didn't
right? So
realize
you
how
fly out.
elaborate it is.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
fly out, you pay out of pocket, and then they tape all the shows in one day. So like, you'll go in and there'll be, all multiple contestants, and then the three of you will tape, and then you'll leave, and the next three go in on their taping. So they knock out all five shows or however many recordings in one day. Yeah. Yeah,
Whoa.
and then results, I walked away with 6 grand. So it was a win-win, right?
All
Win-win. And
right.
even if you
Yeah.
don't win anything, yeah, when you don't win anything, they still give you $1,000, and that's helps you recoup some of the money that you paid for the hotel and the flight to get out to the show. So, yeah,
How
Oh, okay.
difficult
yeah.
is it to spin the wheel? Is it hard? Is it easy?
Oh,
Like,
no, it's pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's not heavy at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some assistant mechanism in there to help the wheel turn, but uh, man, that was so close. I was a millionaire for about 30 seconds. A million for 30 seconds.
No
I
kidding.
landed on the
oh,
$1 million ticket, and I said the right letter. I pulled it up. I think I was so, like overwhelmed that I looked up at the screen and I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's so
But it was a good
exciting
time.
and
It
so
was a good time.
disappointing at the same time. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Good experience. Had a great time, and my father and sister, they drove down from San Francisco to be
Oh,
my
that's
guests
nice.
on the show. Just in case you make it to that final round. They say, "Hey, who's in the audience that's here?" And
Right.
yeah, it was my dad and my
Yeah.
sister.
that's so cool.
So, and I
Yeah.
know we're tight on time, but just it's back to the point of like the
Way
whole
over.
like I know being a millionaire for 30 seconds. I'm just kind of curious because you hear a lot about when you're like from people who are on shows that when you're actually there, there's this added layer of pressure, right? Cameras are
Oh
on
yeah.
you, there's an audience. So, what was that experience like? Was it hard to think straight? When I mean, you've obviously seen the show from when you were
Hmm.
a kid, right? Like growing
Yeah.
up. So, you know the rules, but in the
Hmm.
moment, was it
Yeah.
hard to know what to do or
Oh
what
yeah.
to say? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a big difference because I mean, you're when you're watching the show, you're in the comfort of your home, right?
Mhm.
You can, there's no added pressure from you sitting on the couch or watching from your phone or watching TV, right? But when you're on the show, when you're put into the moment, you got the lights above is beaming down and it's hot. You're sweating, right? You're trying to think of your answer, make sure you say the right thing say the right letter, pronunciate it right, because if you say it wrong, it's still incorrect. And so all that under pressure right there, yeah, it really does play a toll. So watching it, I'm like all day, you're competing, but when you get on the show, it does add a
It's a
factor
different
to
thing.
it, what makes it,
I
yeah,
have I
makes
have
it
a
definitely
question.
harder. Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
see do they keep track of the letters that are called? Are they behind the camera? Can you see, do they cross out? Like, do they have an alphabet or anything so that off cameras that you
Oh,
can see to
actually,
like how
I don't. I think that no, I think there was. I'm trying to remember if there was at the top where they had like letters that, but honestly, I don't remember. It was so fast that, but I do believe there was a set of letters on top, like that you could see what was called and what wasn't called. Yeah,
like I know
I honestly I
sometimes
don't remember
people.
too well. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you recall the size of Pat Sajak's head? I've heard his head to body ratio is off the charts.
so
I
he's
can't.
actually yeah he's not a tall guy at all. He's short, but yeah,
Yeah,
his head is a little bit
he's bigger. Yeah, his head body ratio
yeah,
is like
yeah.
way up,
Like
way
a
up there.
baby, his head just kind of leans
Yeah,
forward.
like a,
He
not
is
not
he
not a
doesn't have
not a
the neck muscles.
bobblehead, comparison. Not the bobblehead ratio, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. At least he's not at the bobblehead ratio. Okay,
Good,
yeah,
Jacob.
good,
So
good.
yeah,
proportionally,
yeah,
he's within the bobblehead and real human
Uh,
margins.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
And
good.
Vanna
Well,
White, she was very sweet. Vanna White was very sweet. She
Oh,
came into
she's
the
awesome.
back room. Yeah, she came into the back room where we're all getting makeup and all that stuff, and where you're telling us, we came in there and was just telling everybody, wish you the best of luck, and
That's
welcome
very
to the show.
nice.
To kind of
That's cool.
the bell us out, get that initial startup shock, celebrity shock, out of the way, so when you get onto the show, it's a little bit easier. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Right on.
great.
All right,
Well, I
guys. I
think we
I
got to
think
give
we're
Derek his
yeah
day back. Yeah.
yeah. we've had them long enough,
can
and I
you
know
come
you guys.
back though? Can you join us again sometime? Because I feel like I already have 1,000 more questions because we just talked about like beginners. So we don't. I'm not asking you to commit to a date right now, but I would
Mhm.
love it if you could join us again sometime in the near future because
Yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, the idea that your stream or whatever your channel has grown so much in such a
Mhm.
short period of time.
Yeah.
I'd love to dig more into that down the road, but yes, we
Yeah.
should give you your day back. Thank you
Yes.
so much for
Yeah,
joining
thank you,
us.
Derek. I
Really
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
Yeah, definitely open to it. You guys let me know when you guys want me to come back. And you're right. There's a lot more, uh, factors into, from modding, uh, from
Yeah.
intro giveaways. Like one thing you can do is post
Right.
a giveaway in your shop that people would buy just to bless the chat, right? A bless the chat auction in your shop, right? Or
Hmm.
there's a lot of stuff, right? To include,
All right.
how in the community is coordinating, all this stuff. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
appreciate the
awesome.
time. Thanks for the opportunity, guys, to come on here. Definitely my favorite podcast.
Oh,
Listening
thank you,
to and
man.
just
That's
having
real
a good
nice.
laugh at
Thank
all
you.
the stuff that you guys talk about. But yeah, no, I appreciate it again, and I'm definitely willing to come down in the future show if you guys want to.
Awesome.
Derek, I
Appreciate it,
appreciate
man.
it, but this is the part of the show we're going to make you uncomfortable. We tell all our siblings we love each other, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
we do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we love you
Thank you
too,
so
Derek. We
much.
love
Yeah.
you. All
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we do.
All
no,
We
right.
love you
do.
guys
Good.
too.
Not in a weird
Yeah,
All
way.
right.
Don't not in a weird way.
You just made it weird.
yeah.
All right. All right.
Once you
Hey,
say
buddy.
not in a weird way, it's weird.
Yeah.
See you, boys.
All
All
right.
right.
No,
See
All
you
right.
definitely.
guys.
Love you guys too,
All
guys.
right.
Love you guys
Love
too.
you, man.
All right.
Later.
Bye.